Hey y'all, IRIX Guy here, and I'm always looking for new video ideas. So what I'm going to explain within this video is how to wall mount a soundbar. Now, this came with this soundbar, and you can expand this video's description and then click the link there to find where to order it online. Some people may want to put it closer to the TV. I'm going to drop mine down a little bit because I've got a light switch right there. So the first thing I did is put this included paper. Whoa, that's not a good example. So I hung this up first. Let's see. Let's do it again here. And then you're going to want to check and make sure this is level. This is a laser level, and you can find it linked within this video's description too. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much did that on point just visually. But it's always good to check. And then there's that center line right there. That's the center of it. Let's see. Let's check that again. That when I stepped back from it, it didn't look as level. Here's a little thing in here where I can level it. No, it's not. That side needs to come up just a hair. That's pretty much spot on, I think. So it didn't come with screws, but it came with the little wall mount pieces. Wall mount piece, obviously the part that's open will go towards the top. So what I'm going to do is mark this right here. This is this hole, and that's why this guide's nice, because it lines up with your soundbar. So I'm going to mark that hole, and then we go over here and mark this hole. And by marking it, I just partially screwed it in. So now we can take this off, and I wouldn't attach it too tightly with the tape because you could tear your paint off. Preferably use painter's tape, but I'm broke and I got I just had Scotch tape. So I just put it on there gently and left the tips up so I could easily pull it off. I'm going to do this on one side first in the hole that I marked. Okay, I got that in there. It's also worth mentioning on the back of this, these little thumb screw things I screwed in, they're what are actually going to hold it if you're wall mounting. So that one's on. And now what I also want to do is put this on and just make sure that that guide was accurate, and it is, because I can see that hole lines up. The next thing I want to do, though, just out of paranoia, is I want to put this laser guide up. It's got a little thing that'll stick in. To make sure this is exactly level, precisely level rather, I'm going to put this over the top. Let's see. Check this out. This is that sticks in the wall, and then this is magnetic. I stuck it too close to the wall. That's not a good example. So stick it out just a little bit this way. It's like a thumbtack. Now, there we go. Now see, that's perfectly level. So what I can do now is go to the other side and make sure that when this goes in, that that's hitting the top. And I was pretty much spot on. I lifted it up just a hair. Now let's gently put the soundbar on, just to test. Okay, that's on there. Let's see. See if it's centered. And it is. It's a little bit wider than the TV. This is just a 40-inch TV, and you can find the TV link within this video's description too. Sorry, I didn't quite get that side in tight enough, but I did now. So now the next thing to do is you're going to see on this side, in my case, I'm going to have the power cable. It's going to be on this side. On this side, I'm using the optical audio, so it's going to be here. So what I need to do now is figure out the best place to make the holes for the cables. Taking into consideration that I do have, let's see, I do have, what do they call it, studs in the wall. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold this here gently and just very slightly mark where these compartments are for the cables. So all optical audio and power on this side. So to do that, I'm just going to place this like this underneath the wall mounts. And then I'm going to make a mark right in line with the wall mount so that it'll be hidden behind the soundbar. I'm going to do the same over here. So what I want to do now is where I made those marks is get into the wall. Before I do, I want to make sure there's not a stud there. So I'm going to tape measure, and I'm going to measure the distance from what I marked to the little door frame thing here. Okay, so it's a little over 14 inches. So when I go back here, I'm good. There's no stud there. And then the same thing on this one. We measure out here. And see, I lock this in. It's about 29 inches. And at 29 inches, I should be good too. So now what I'm going to do, this is just an old screwdriver. I'm just going to stick it through the wall. Probably be better to use a drill. But to be quick and easy and not have to fire up a drill, boom, I got a hole. Now this side, that side is the optical audio cable. So what I need to do is make that hole wide enough for the optical audio cable to pass through. It is worth mentioning, this optical audio cable did not come with a soundbar. It came with a very short one. So You can find this linked within this video's description. But what I'm going to do, and notice it's got the rubber tip on, because when I stick this through, I don't want to risk getting any gunk in the optical audio distorting the audio. What you may want to do is put a piece of tape over it too, just to provide enhanced reassurance. So I'm kind of, in the drywall here, I'm just kind of making this a little bit bigger here. Probably a lot of construction people are laughing at me like, man, that guy didn't use a drill. Well, you know, sometimes you just work with what you got. And I've got a drill, for this, this is working. And see, I'm just kind of going around gently here. I don't want to make too big of a hole, but I want it just big enough for this cable to go through. It's almost there. But it's important that I line this up between those two mounts, because you don't want to see the cables. That's the whole thing about, you know, an attractive soundbar and wall-mounted TV, is that you don't want to see the cables. Okay, so I've almost got this big enough here. Let's see if that'll fit. Almost. Needs a little bit more. Not much. Again, you don't want to make a huge hole. So see, now it's through. Now I just got to go to the back of it. And I can see it back here. I'm going to pull it through. And now I got it through, see? So I've got my audio cable. And obviously that part is going to go up to the TV, which I've already got a hole on the top part for the TV. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop this through that hole. I'll wipe it off first. So let's see, let's drag this through. Yep, so see, now I've got that through, and we'll take the TV off here in a minute. So, optical audio cable is done. Now what we got to do is get the power cable. Power cable is, well, it's bigger on this end. So probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it through the back, this smaller side. So again, just going to poke and just kind of fatten it out. You know, not too big, just big enough for your cable. And I'm going to have to mop and everything after I do this because I'm making a mess. Now this hole is going to be a little bit bigger because the power cable is bigger than the optical audio cable. Almost big enough, just a little bit wider. Not quite. but almost. Got it. So see, now that's going through. And now, and go back there and grab it. Okay, so I grabbed it back there. What I'm going to do now is wash my hands off. You don't want to touch this speaker material with that drywall dust on you. I guess I could have dried my hands, but I don't have a towel, so it'll work with what I got here. Dry my hands, air dry. Now what we can do, pull this through a little bit more. Oh wait, I've got it behind the TV. That's right. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to connect. Actually, before we connect the sound bar, we're going to lift the TV off the wall and connect the optical audio cable. This TV mount's incredible. It's got these two little magnetic things. And they release a lock when you pull down. Now the TV can lift off. Blowing off my optical audio cable. Wipe it off on my shirt here. You get that stuff in your optical audio, it'll gunk it up, make it sound bad. Okay, so I got that. Now I'm going to take the plastic tip off of the optical audio cable. Plastic tip is off. Move this table closer to me. I'm going to take this off, that's hazardous. Change the technique here. The stuff I've got to get to is on the other side. So I guess technically, if I rotate carefully, this is where the longer optical audio cable comes in handy. Okay, optical audio cable is connected. These are going to dangle, because if you don't, if you don't dangle these, you'll have a hard time getting the TV off. Let's see, so I'm going to let those dangle. I'm going to recheck my connections. All I got is a fire stick. Optical audio cable, power cable, all are secure. What I'm going to do now is gently flip. Gently press back on. Okay, that's on, but what I want to do, all the slack that I have here, I'm going to go back there and check the slack. And again, I've visually verified that it's mounted to the wall. Okay, so that's the power cable for my fire stick. It's in there. Now I've got the optical audio cable, extra slack. And I want to leave some slack, I just don't want it to be seen. And now I've got the power cable for the TV. Now it's up there, so it's hidden. These things right here, they're magnetic. So just kind of toss them up and see if I need to slide the TV one way or the other, I can, because it's on the rail. I'm trying to remember where I think that it was. I think it's a little bit further to the right. It's about right there. Let's see. Yeah, that's where it was. And then this cable you see is that little clip thing. Let's see. Let's stick it further up. There we go. Now everything's hidden. So what we're going to do now, before we attach this to the wall, and again, this is where the slack's nice, because you can just comfortably work and don't feel like you're pulling on cables. So this right here, and again, blowing it off, making sure there's nothing on it, and then I'm going to take the little nipple cover off. And I'm going to stick it in this side over here that says optical audio. Okay, so optical audio is connected. The next thing I'll connect is the power for the soundbar, which is on this side. It's connected. Now what we want to do before we put this on is gently feed our cables into the wall. So that when this goes on, hopefully there won't be a cable visible underneath or above. Perfect. Okay, so now I've got that on there. Now, what we're going to have to do is plug it in. Okay, so soundbar is plugged in, and there's a subwoofer too. But before I plug the subwoofer in, I want to clean the floor. And again, in a lot of situations, you may want to put your soundbar closer to the TV, which is fine. But I just, because of the light switch, I put mine like it is. So, let's see, let's vacuum up here. And we want a steam mop too. And while that mop heats up, I do want to mention this is not perfectly centered. So like I was saying earlier, my TV, it can slide that way. Let's see. Maybe just a hair more. Now that looks centered. Just get all this up, keep this good and tidy. You don't want a messy entertainment area. It's easier to do this now than to get excited and be like, man, I got a soundbar, dude, I got a soundbar. And try to rush in and use it before you're ready to do so. We're going to put this over here for a second because we're going to do some more with it. But first, I'm going to plug in the subwoofer. It's a wireless subwoofer. I think for now I'm going to use it beside the TV, but I may move it beside a chair if I put a chair in here. So now we can move this back. And make sure everything's centered. Yeah, it looks good and centered. Put the good stuff up there. From all over the Caribbean. There we go. And now, let's see, we can move our subwoofer. And I'm going to steam mop. Don't want any dust in here. So that's why I mounted that like that, because I got that light switch. Okay, so that's it. That's how I installed my soundbar. And again, you can expand this video's description and then click the link there to find where to order the TV, this really nice and inexpensive TV wall mount, the soundbar, and a whole lot more. Thanks for your viewership. Be sure to subscribe to youtube.com/IRICSky. Y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, Captain IRICSky here. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to subscribe. It's youtube.com/IRICSky. And ring that bell icon when you do to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.